Flame on! How's everybody doing tonight? I'm here with my co-host Nick Lenz. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
And this welcome to another episode of Anime Blaze. If you're just watching us for the first time, this is episode. This is the show where we watch a lot, review a lot of anime, manga, and just other side series that we picked up or have been requested by fans. Now we're going through JoJo Bizarre Adventure season 6. I want to say because Golden Wind was considered season 5.
That was part five. Soul Ocean is technically the fifth season show because they did the first two parts of the first season.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
So
and this was the first. This was the first season to not air originally on TV. This aired exclusively on Netflix.
yeah, this was straight to streaming release. This did not have any syndication.
Afterwards, it did, but not at the start.
Not at the time, yes.
Yeah, and Netflix decided it was really dumb. Like after releasing the first 12 episodes, next batch didn't come out until 9 months later, which a lot of people were not happy with them over this. Um, and then the last part came out just 3 months later, and that was it for releases. Because now they're getting a lot of flack once again for Steel Bull Run, where after releasing one episode, delay it till September for no reason. Everything okay, J Heat?
Yeah, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, okay. But yeah, I preferred this season better than Golden Time. Golden Wind kind of was a. I mean, it was. I still got through it, but Golden Wind, at least in my opinion, is the weakest out of all the JoJo parts. Like, there's a good story there, but a lot some of the scenes get really cringy, especially halfway through. It's a watch to get through. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Yeah. The original manga that this adapted from, this is also the last part to release weekly. Because starting with Steel Will Run, which was adapted from the Marie season of the show, that was the first one released monthly. Because look up the release date for this one, released from
Hmm.
December 1999 and wrapped up in April 2003. So that means by the time that the thing started, when it released the first episodes, it was, oh my gosh, like 19 years after this part ended, just by sheer coincidence. Because it was released in 2022, I think it
Hmm.
was. Yeah. Um, so the story for this one is interesting because we're kind of going back to the Joestar family, except this is the
Hmm.
first one where first and today the I think the only part I can think I've heard of where the lead is a woman, because I think the next two are both guys. Though,
Yeah, I think this is the first one. Yeah, I would say this is the first one.
yeah, and this was also the end of the original timeline for JoJo Bizarre Adventures because after this wrapped up, there was a reboot. We'll get to that later, the reason for it, and it's weird to
Hello,
say the least.
Nick.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still here, Jahit.
Okay, you're kind of going in and out. Can you please repeat what you were saying?
Okay. Because the series is a weird ending, which we'll get to it. Because after this part wrapped up, there was a reboot. The writer rebooted the whole series and basically kind of made part one into what was seen for kind of for what we saw for part seven of the series, with similar characters but not the same story. And plus, it was longer than part one. And you could say also this was the last part to feature the Speedwagon Foundation. They played a very minor supporting role in this one, They were mentioned briefly at the beginning of Golden Wind, but they did not play a really big role in. They play a slightly bigger role in Part 6, but not as big as it is Parts 2 and 3 and 4.
Hmm.
Where we have our lead character, Jolene Cujo, who was voiced in English dub by Kara Buckland, which, yeah, I think she got a lot. I think this is one of 2 Netflix dubs I've heard that she's been on. The other being Eden Zero, which they still not dubbed season 2 yet for some weird reason. And plus, it's officially like Switch. I don't know. I haven't looked at it a bit, but I think season 1 might be still on Netflix. I'm not sure. But so she is arrested. Yes, arrested in the first episode for apparently using her car to run over somebody. But the thing was, she actually had the cover for her boyfriend. Yeah, and the guy died because of serious scope of his adventure. The guy gets hit by a car, ends up in a tree, of all things. And then, of course, basically, this woman, she was easily framed and she had to take the fall for somebody else. They gave her a sentence in this prison in Florida, of all places, which I think this was actually the first and only part of JoJo's Adventure ever set in the state of Florida. I think she was sent to a prison. I think the prison I think they mentioned was near Miami, I think it was, where she was arrested and basically she's interrogation and then her father shows up. Jojo Kujo, the main character of part 3, who was last seen at the beginning of part 5, just in the first couple episodes, and once again, and for the last time ever in JoJo's Adventure, voiced by Matthew Merce, because after this, the character never returns again, and there's a reason for that. So basically explains to her that I'm getting you out of here, and he explains the whole concept of stands because she actually got this amulet which gave her a stand, which seemed like I think it was it's a similar ability that Trish had in the previous part, where it's sort of like a string based stand, which it's called Stone Ocean, just like basically that we have Stardust Platinum in part 3. In part 4, you had Diamonds Unbreakable. I don't remember what the name of the stand was, but I remember the stand for the one for part 5. His was called Golden Wind. So basically, her father gets attacked, and then he's able to live, but he has lost his memories and he lost his stand. Thanks to someone have the ability to create disc out of people's minds, which seems so weird of a concept. Though later on, Jolene does get back the disc that has our father stand in it, but the memories took a little bit longer to get back. And he, of course, was taken away, and he's not sitting there for quite a while in the series. He returns sporadically until like the last little part toward the very end. And she's taken to her cell in this woman's prison where, because it's a prison, they do a strip search, and she, of course, had to strip butt naked because it's a prison. And I think like the guards of the show were all women, which I thought that was interesting. In fact, all the guards were women. So it's like, oh, only for you, by her basically having her butt stick in front of all these 3 female guards, because that's the way the animation presented it. And then she got into her prison uniform, which is basically her standard outfit she wears throughout the rest of the series, which seems kind of weird that you have the prison outfit where It just has a cut off midriff, and I'm like, okay, so yeah, it's like a cut off midriff with like a coat. I'm like, how is this now? Apparently the prisoners apparently could design their uniform for some weird reason because everybody's got their own standard uniform that they wear throughout this whole series. It's like there's like no orange jumpsuit, no prison number. It's just these weird outfits that they wear. Reason for it, don't know. It's one of two anime I've ever seen where you have a prison and they wear like normal clothing compared to prison uniforms. They kind of made this up for this in Baruto, where they have the characters where they're posed as prisoners, not be actual prisoners. So then, of course, she has a roommate named Hermes, who she had to fight at first. And she has to fight with some people in here. Also meets a priest. Meet a little him later on. His name is Enrico Pucci. And he's the main bad guy of the show. And he's like moving very quietly because he's basically the because he's the prison chaplain, he's able to move in the prison any place he wants to. And we find out that during the course of this, that he actually was an old friend of Dio Brando, voiced once again and for the final time, unless they bring it back for Stonehouse, because the version of this character pops up at the end of that one. Dio Brando appears in a flashback where it's a very, very suggestive flashback where it is like the subject Dio is clearly a vampire, and the side fact he's clearly into women, it's like there was something between the two of them, like they're close friends, and somehow the whole thing with Pochi is that he wanted a pathway to heaven, and that became his obsession and his drive for what happens over the course of this. They have like a work group, which they go on, clean some stuff up. When the person gets killed and possessed by a stand known as Foo Fighters, which she calls FF, um, voiced by Brittany Luda. And then she also meets a few other different characters. One is Weatherport, voiced by Steve Fu, which some people know him recently as the voice of uh, Nazuki from Ren Hero, replacing, well, Billy Kimmets because he's passing, one of two. Kind of interesting he came on this one, but he came on this one the same time that he had just passed away. I wonder if Weatherport basically was supposed to be voiced by Billy Kimmets originally before he got ill. So there's also Nerisko Kutska. There's also now there's a guy named Impario who's this little boy who would pop up early on. He's popped up occasionally with this whole thing. He's a little boy who was born in the prison, and apparently he was not allowed to leave for some reason. He has a stand ability that allows him to go inside the walls. Armis has like these like spy. I think her, if I remember correctly, her stand is like I think like shrinking. I think it was Foo Fighter or something. I don't remember what her ability was. Weatherport, he can basically create weather, and we find out later on he's actually related to Poochie in a very revealing way. There is Ausi, who appearance-wise looks exactly like the main villain of Part 5, just with a redesign. I mean, his outfit, I'm looking at his outfit here. He looks exactly like Davito from Part 5. Except that, well, the outfit's slightly altered. And I know that manga artists have been accused frequently of reusing character designs. Eden Zero is the most infamous example, but the thing is, the creator of JoJo's Adventures is one of those people who do in fact do this. Another person who does this, Clamp also with their characters, they frequently use character designs for other stuff they work on, and the creator of Rama Half Inuyasha, that one frequently uses character designs. Matter of fact, I think it was Kagome. Her character design was a redesign from her character was used before, even after Inuyasha wrapped up. So they had this like special room where like Weatherport suffers from amnesia, and that was caused by Poochie, which they reveal later on in a flashback that he is Poochie's brother, and he started dating this girl, which Poochie know the girl because Poochie's his sister. Well, the girl is Poochie's sister, and he want because they didn't know they were related. They had no idea. So he decides to hire the KKK to break them up, which is an odd thing to do. Mind you, Poochie is black.
He is not
And
joking. That is actually in the material.
yeah, it's in the material. Because they show wearing the outfits the KKK wear, but it's clearly the KKK. And because Poochie and Witherport are black, and their sister, which he doesn't know is his sister, um, she later died, and then he lost his memory. Later on, he did get it back, and apparently Poochie was afraid of getting afraid of Witherport getting his memory back, which later on involved him summoning snails, thanks to his power. And he can sort of sense stuff. And about halfway through the story, they do break out of prison. Basically, now Foo Fighter, she gets killed. She actually gets killed off. She actually is the the main characters get killed prior to the ending, where they escape. She gets killed off just before they leave because they had to basically get past this one prison guard, who apparently is like a lockup type ability. The anime basically depicts her as a very stunning woman who's a blonde. So prior to the events of the story, Jolene and her father did not have a good relationship because one time she was arrested, and her mother, which they never identify who the mother is. It just we have this woman. They say this woman's her mother. We have no idea who this woman is. No idea. And apparently, when she had tried to get her father to help bail out of jail, he was on a flight back to Japan. So, from her perspective, he couldn't be bothered to help her. So she had a rotten juvenile detention for a crime she did commit. This one she did not commit. They broke out. So Hermes, Jolene, Impario, they're to follow now behind. And then they go straight to her boyfriend's house, which she has kind of put it past the fact that he kind of set her up for this whole thing in the first place. But they later just punch him. Well, and then of course they have Impario, who apparently loves reading books, able to pilot a helicopter. Though part of this, they had stolen a car. Because, of course, Pochi was on his way, thanks to receiving some coordinates from JoJo's memories, which later on they did get his memories back. And he slowly is remembering his family. So it turns out he was heading to Cape Canaveral, of all places, which they had to drive to Orlando first, because driving from the south up. So they's like, oh, I found the coordinates to get to heaven. And I'm like, how in the world did Dio Brandon have this? Because, and the reason why that he wanted Jotaro's memories because Jotaro read Dio Brano's journal, which apparently had the memories. Like, it was also implied that Jotaro burned the diary. It's kind of weirdly
Yeah,
explained
yeah,
with this.
yeah. This is where JoJo. This is where I mean, you kind of expect it with JoJo, but this is where things really get convoluted. I mean, Dio alone is a headache.
Yeah, but it was nice to hear Patrick Saltz one more time as Dio Brando.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and it seemed like ever since because this was really weird because in part 3 Dio was bulky, and in the flashback they establish here he is much thinner, still muscular, but much. He's like a lot of muscle mass. Jotaro is still muscular even at this point because I think that they kept the design from season 3, from season 2 of the show. So basically, Winter Purple becomes a sort of a bad guy, and Poochie kills him, and then seemed like the world is about to end because Poochie wants to go to heaven so badly. So Anushi asks Jotaro for his daughter's hand in marriage. He is basically confused, like, why are you asking that now? And Jolene's like, I accept. And they try to fight him, and then pretty much all of them are killed, except for Mario. And you're probably thinking, like, why would they kill off the lead character before the ending? Because they reboot the universe. So eventually, Poochie kind of wins, but that universe ends. And then Paro ends up in a different universe where a version of Jolene and Osushi are dating. They they pick up Hermes, and apparently they're visiting Jolene's father, who's in this version of Jolene's father who's in prison, and they pick up another hitchhiker, who is Weather Report, a version of it anyways, and Empire himself never returns. He does not pop up a Steel Will Run, because this was the finale for a lot of these characters. I'm sure a lot of people when they watch this, like, they killed Jojo Kujo, a character who I think was still pretty popular when it comes to anime. People love this character, and they kill him off. They kill off his daughter. And I kept thinking, like, he is not the only person. They could just have, like, I don't know. They could have had Josuke Hisagaya. They could have had his offspring be the next one. Nope. This is the last one. Universe resets, and this is probably the first time since part 1 they killed the main character at pretty much the ending point of the series, which that was a record for the series, because that's what happened to Jolene's grandfather. Her great grandfather. They don't say, because Joseph Joestar does not really appear again after part 4, because he was already dying at that point. So maybe he did pass away. They don't really say what happened to him. But I'm sure, because I think they said this one takes place, like, I think it was like about a decade after, I think about just a few years after Golden Wind. But I say of all 6 parts, it has the most complicated ending out of all 6 parts to date.
I agree.
Yeah, at least basically that Davito didn't want to basically reboot the universe, or Dio. Dio was just insane.
Oh, definitely.
And I tell you, wonder though, is the because even though he's kind of dead, but I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of brought him back. The main villain of part 2 is still out in space, even though he's frozen solid. He because he's a stone pillar man. I'm sure probably because he's a vampire. Either he probably got burned to a crisp or something when he's out in space. They don't say. It's just that he's still out there. He could have gone back, but nope, never did. Also, kind of feel for this part that aside from the connection to, aside from having Joker here, this one also has barely a connection to any of the previous parts, though. That's kind of the problem with Stone Ocean. It doesn't feel like any connection aside for some characters. And a little bit the speed combination, which all we get for them is a submarine, which has Jotaro basically just wasn't a coma, wasn't dead, got to stand back, and he was looking at a picture of his wife and daughter, and then he got his memories back. But when he got his memories back, the disc was partially melted, so he's missing some memories. So he wasn't all that there. It's almost like, now, I am not going to blame Dave Production for the ending of this particular part. I blame the original writer for this.
How so?
Because it's a very confusing ending. Because like so many hoops, like what? It's like we're trying so much connection to the previous stuff that it's almost like all that stuff led to this, even though it didn't really. At least in the case of the first four parts, they kind of led each other pretty naturally. This one, I would say for Golden Wind, that was very loosely connected, and this one was, well, didn't have a story build up to it. It just happened. That's the kind of thing with it. Tyler Perker was this one. He was the voice of character of Ooglo. He also had Clifford Champ in this one. I think Dave Vincent was he was narrated for all the parts, so they basically retained him for all the parts. But that kind of is Stone Ocean. What did you think of this one?
Other than I enjoyed Ocean Storm. I enjoyed this for what it was. It just, other than the ending, and then it kind of set up for a soft reboot in part 7. Do we have a release on that? Because I know we got the teaser trailer late last year.
They released episode 1 back in March. I heard that the next episode is supposed to come out next month.
So
it's weird the fact that they just stopped after one episode and just pushed it off by about 6 months.
Did they announce an official release schedule, or are they just gonna Are they just gonna push them out as short, as condensed?
Okay, so it said weekly release September 25th.
September 25th or December 25th?
September, and it's gonna release a core of 11 episodes. But who knows how long they're gonna last, because the opening episode was like an hour long. I do like the story for Steelbook Run, but one thing that Steelbook has over Stone Ocean is that the ending is not as confusing as Stone Ocean. Though I'm thinking that the Day Production won't skip the fact they have the President of the U.S. in that series, a very evil man in this ultra reality of the United States of where it's set like after Civil War, because the whole thing is like it's basically a big horse race from California in this weird zigzag pattern, goes straight to like New York.
Mm-hmm.
Over 3,000 miles. Now, some of you might be thinking, is the manga JoJo's Adventures publishing? It is. It's currently on part 9 right now. After Steel Ball Run, it was JoJo's, which was a remake of Part 4, where it's and then we have JoJo Lands, and this one's set in Hawaii. And the last part, JoJo's, uh, this lasted for 10 years. That part. Steelburn
Hmm.
published for 7.
Hmm.
And Steelburn switched manga because they originally published in Weekly Shonen Jump for like looks like a month. Looks like from January October 2004, and they switched Ultra Jump in March of '05 and included in April 2011. Then Joe Jolin pretty much started like a month later.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Learn new every day.
yeah, and it's not if you were curious. There's only 17 volumes. Now, interesting thing with Slow Motion, Viz Media has actually released volumes of that one here. They started
Cool.
publishing those 3 years ago, and I think they just finished releasing their. Let's see, they just finished releasing the last part. Um, it's 158 chapters. That's how long it is, but they do have all the volumes, but they kind of like make them bigger. Similar to what they did with part one was they did originally was like 3 volumes. I think Japan was released in 6. Steel Will Run is also released here.
Hmm.
I think that one just started releasing here. Let's see for English release. Yeah, they started releases here last year, and they just got to volume 8. They just released that here, and they're not done yet. They still got a while to go with that one. They pretty much the actual parts themselves, the actual chapters for part 7 is 95 chapters, and that's a
Hmm.
monthly manga.
How about that?
Yeah. So if you want to read the manga for this one, it's out, completely out here. So you don't have to worry about a wait. You do have to worry about a wait for Steel Will Run because it's still publishing that one here.
Hmm.
Yep. And if anybody's seen the actual manga volumes themselves, the English releases are released in hardcover for JoJo Bizarre Adventure. Because I did notice, like I think like every single volume for all the manga released here in English, the manga is all in hardcover. Everything else is pretty much all soft cover for all the rest of the manga. But I think this is the only manga they put out that's in hardcover. The only manga I've seen hardcover is Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin.
Hmm.
Yep. And kind of with that, that's it for JoJo until whenever they finish releasing Steel Ball Run.
You heard it here first. We're all caught up.
Yep, I think our next view would do season 3 for Rise and Shihiro.
Yes, that is definitely next. But if you have another anime you guys would like to recommend, please feel free to ask in the chat or in the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
This was a rather shorter video than I expected because part 6 is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Is there another topic you wanted to discuss?
Did you hear One Piece is getting 2 movies soon?
I did not know that.
Yeah, they just announced, I think it was today, that next year, they released a movie called One Piece God Valley, and from what I've read, this is going to be the first One Piece movie that's actually going to be canon to the actual anime, not original. And then for 3 years from now, in 2029, they're releasing another movie called One Piece Bad with 2 Ds.
Hmm.
So I'm like, that's cool. But I guess that means that it'd be a while. Once this current set of episodes wraps up, we're probably gonna wait over a year before we have new episodes come out for the One Piece anime. As when next year, do not have a release date for it yet. This is currently one of 3 anime movies looking forward to next year now. The other 2 being MS and Shadow. They're finally releasing the movie they teased 3 years ago, which they felt making progress on the damn thing. And part 2 of Demon Slayer Infinite Castle, which the first part was awesome last year. Did you get a chance to see it, Jay Heat?
I did.
Yeah, it was long too. I think it was like 2.5 hours. I think it was. And I like how many chapters they adapted. They adapted like 18 chapters in 2.5 chapters, 2.5 hours for that movie. And some people theorized they were gonna do like a season between movies. No, they're just doing movies because the money's going to the budget for the show is going to the movie. So why do another season for the show in between?
Yeah,
I
because
love.
that reminds me, and I'm only using this as a modern recent example. A lot of people are giving Avatar: The Legend of Aang a lot of flack, and I'm like, okay, yes, Atlas is a very profound, impactful show. It is, I would argue, it's a full-on masterpiece, give or take the minus the filler. But for all intents and purposes, and I will do a review of this at some point. Legend of Aang, for better for worse, is the American anime equivalent of an anime original movie. Yes, does it tie some elements to set up for Korra and the founding of Republic City? Yes, it references some things. But on its own, it's an anime original movie. Nick, have you had a chance to see it on Paramount yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I won't spoil more than that, but I will say that movie deserved to have a theatrical release. We were snubbed. We were robbed, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just like how Demon Slayer Infinite Castle and Chainsaw Man were snubbed at the Oscars because they weren't made by American studio.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people were pissed off about that.
And they were nominated for the Crunchyroll Awards. And when I saw Demon Slayer Infinite Castle nominated, I'm like, this was gonna win. Obviously, this one was gonna win, and it did.
Oh, hands down.
Because the movie was good, that's why. Let's see. What other movies were there that they nominated for this year's Crunchyroll Awards? Let's see. Cause where is it here? Okay, so let's see. The one they had just recently was just this past May. So where is it here? Here we go. Anime of the Year, which I don't think anybody was surprised this one won. The final season of My Hero Academia. Were you surprised about that?
I was.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people were not happy with the previous one because they basically had Solo Leveling one over other anime. I think Free was also nominated too, and people thought that Crunchyroll snubbed that one for some reason, and they rather choose hype over animation style. But many you already mentioned about Infinite Castle, best continuing series, which was won by One Piece. No surprise there. Best new series. It was there. The nominees were Clavis, Psycho Days, Tubby Original Sin, Fragrant Bloom's Dignity, and Hakura Summer Hakura Died, and Gachuka. But Gachuka won. I've never seen this anime, so a lot of people were a bit upset that some other newer anime weren't nominated. Some people thought that the Crunch was being a bit biased for not nominating non Crunchyroll anime. Best visual anime, Lazarus. Never saw the show. Best animation, they gave it to Solo Leveling for some reason. Don't know why. I get the fact it's a good show, but I'm not sure why that one had the win. Best character design, Gakachu. Best director, The person who directed the two people who directed Apothecary Tower season 2, which not a bit surprising. It's probably for the Japanese dub for that one. They enlisted the American dub. They enlisted the English dub for some reason. Best background art, Gachuka. I nominated Apothecary Diaries. Best action, Solo Leveling. Best comedy, Donovan. I wasn't surprised this one because this one was actually kind of funny. Best drama, Apothecary Diaries. I had no problem with this one winning. This was fine. This one basically, I think a lot of people were ticked up crunch for this one. So ReZero got nominated for one award. One. Best Isekai, which it won. Should have been nominated for other awards, but it wasn't nominated for anything else for some reason. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was looking at what Sema King basically was posting. It was good up until the ending. Best romance. The fragrant flower blooms with dignity. And yet somehow people, the crunch was thinking of picking Donovan. My Dress Up Darling, and of course that one didn't win. The chose one I haven't seen yet. Best Slice of Life. Spy X Family. Okay. Best main character. Momo from Apothecary Diaries.
Wait, Dress Up Darling, didn't that one get canceled for controversy with the anime?
No, I think it was something else.
Oh,
My
okay.
Dress Up Darling, they let's see. I don't think it was because they did 2 seasons. I think that was they were doing that with Uzaki-chan Once Hangout.
Hmm.
I was a little surprised this one won. Mamao won over Deku Okarin. They basically nominated the two leads from Donadon as best main character. And they couldn't nominate Subaru or any other character. Or they nominated like the main character of Gajuka or Solo Leveling. Best supporting character, Bakugo. Must spectate at all costs. And Forger, which is like the second in a row she's won this award. Best anime song. This is one thing Chainsaw Man did win. Iris Out. Great song. Best score. Demon Slayer from the Castle. Best solo sequence. On the Way for Donadon. Best ending sequence. Which was the ending for My Hero Academia, the final season. Now, this one basically, I basically put online they should nominate Sean Chipling for this one, but nope. But they nominated Alexis Tipton, Emily Lowe, Justin Brenner, Morgan Berry, Paul Cox Jr., and Lucian Dodge. I voted for Alexis Tipton for this award, and it was won by the guy who was one of the villains, who's like one of the primary who got a lot of he got a good reception as Sakusuka, the guy who was one of the one of the villains movie that they gave it to him for some reason. I'm like, does Crunchyroll not like allowing female voice actors to win their awards? I don't know if they did before last year, but this is 2 years in a row where they put three female voice actors and they pick a guy to win. I don't pay that much to the other ones per se, though the Japanese one was won by the Japanese voice actor for Mama from that Apothecary Diaries. And that was it for the awards. Like, this is how many nominations these shows got. Donadon 20, Apothecary Diaries 17, Gachuka 16, My Hero Academia was nominated 15, Chainsaw Man movie 13, So Loving 10, Spy X Family 9, 8 for Day Summer Died in Demon Slayer movie. Original Sin got 7, My Just Like One Piece 6, Zenitsu got 2.
What's up, Retro Cinema? And Nemo, if you're still there.
Yeah.
Honestly, Stone Ocean was mid for me, even though it was supposed to. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's a fair criticism.
Yeah. because unlike the other ones, it didn't feel like it built up to it.
It did not.
It just had some connector characters connected to it. Like if you want to think about it, I would say the first four built up really well. I would say that part five was like a side story. It felt like a side story that was part of the main timeline. Part six, I could kind of say the kind of felt the same way. Do you think so?
Yes, I agree. It very lackluster. Like this felt like any other season. If you did not know this was going to lead to a soft reboot going in, you wouldn't have gotten that vibe. Like the payoff just isn't there.
Yeah. Mm. They have multiple anime coming back in October. I mean, these are the ones I'm looking forward to come back in October. Apothecary Diary Season 2 Part 1, Rama Half Season 3, The Acts of Social Read the World Season 2, The Detectives Already Dead Season 2, As a Reincarnated Aristocrat, I'll use my praise to skip right in the world, Black Clover, A Last Wild Boss Period, and Tokenaki Nako Kogan Falls Arc. That's a good amount of anime to look forward to in October. What
That
anime are
is
you
true.
looking forward to come back in October?
Ooh, I haven't really paid attention to the fall anime season. I am going to be completely honest.
I would say probably for a lot of people, the one show everyone's looking forward to come back is Black Clover.
Yeah, because Black Clover has been on hiatus for what, about 2 years now?
Last episode aired 5 years ago.
Oh, 5 years. Okay, because I knew
And
the
I just
manga.
recently just caught up with the dub. Finally, I was like about 11 episodes behind, but now I've watched the whole series dubbed.
And breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, there's no Boruto chapter for the month of August. I don't know for who those who haven't heard already. Ikimoto is taking a break this month, but we did get some subliminal material in a recent announcement, along with the Storm Connections DLC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going
Well,
to spoil.
it gives us a break for a month for Boruto.
Yeah, because we definitely got to catch up. I think we're one chapter behind or two.
Let's see. I'm looking right now. The most recent show that came out was 36.
Hold on, did we review chapter 36?
Yeah, I probably have to look at it to be sure.
Okay, let me just go for my.
Yeah.
Keep talking, Nick, while I look at this right quick.
Yeah. As for when the Barge anime comes back, I mean, as far as everyone's concerned, it's coming back. We just don't have a release date for it. That's the thing. No release date for it. As far as like, I think a rumor I heard it may was come back this year, but because Black Clover's come back this year, maybe they pushed it to maybe next year, the following year.
Yeah, because Bleach Core 4, was it Core 3 that wrapped up or Core 4?
Core 4 is airing right now.
Okay, Core 4 is airing right now. Okay. So we got to wait for that before anything. Black Clover is already in production, so that's definitely going to come out by October. Yeah,
Yes.
we're not going to get any official Boruto announcement until after Bleach Core 4 is finished.
And here's the weird thing with Bleach Core 4. The dub has never been released yet. It's been out for like a month and no release of the dub. None. It's one of two anime I'm watching. I'm trying to watch, but no dub yet. The other being Saga Time Evil. The show's been out for like a month and no dub. Though I have heard a rumor they're trying to dub the movie. The movie that came out between the first and second season of the show. I'm like, is that hard to find? I'm sure the voice as far as I can tell, all the voice actors want to come back to the show. It's just that they have to come up with time because I'm sure I know Crunchyroll this year, and I've seen people online basically say this, even on Miami List. Crunchyroll has been delaying their dubs way too much this year.
Yeah, because there used to be simulcast.
Well, they usually have a good amount of time to release stuff, and then for some shows they just delay dub for no reason. Like, let's see. They put Atlas Bookworm, which we're watching Saturdays. They've had episodes delayed 4 times. That's Regards to Slime 5 times. And it seems like everything I've watched this year that's had a dub has had a delay, except Witch Atlas that's had no delay so far. Excuse me. And Mashuka Tensai that's had no delays. Near has 100 girlfriends. And for some weird reason, ReZero's back, but no dub for part 2. Despite part 1 have a simul dub, part 2 they're like, no, we're not doing simul dub. And I talked to Triple about this. Even he agrees with this. That Crunchyroll tends to treat ReZero as like the redheaded stepchild.
And ReZero isn't even bad.
No.
I'll admit it, yeah, it's a dark story with a lot of self-loathing, but it's not bad.
It just seems like Crunchyroll does not care about this series at all for some reason. Like if it's One Piece, they'll push that, no problem. But if it's ReZero, nope.
For all intents and purposes, it is One Piece is always going to be the golden child. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah. I did hear something that this fall they're gonna release the first set of dub episodes for the current arc that's airing right now, which is Elbath. And from what I heard, this core was supposed to be 26 episodes, and they're almost done. But at least the only thing you release once this core wraps up, it's like you don't release anything we'll get between now and when the movie comes out is probably the chapters. Because I don't think they're going to, do another remake of an arc like they were with Fishman Allen. The only thing I suggest they could do is maybe adapt the light novels for specials. I don't think I think they could do. Because I'm sure I know that they did this because they wanted to make sure the pacing is good, which fine.
Mm-hmm.
But Toei could still really adapt the heroine special that came out last month. They adapted that whole special, adapted one chapter of that light novel, one chapter. They can easily adapt more. I would suggest basically for them just adapt that or adapt the cover stories, which they've been neglecting on. Because it's really cover stories for One Piece, but they haven't adapted them yet. There's some basic, I think, important for the series. Will they have them? No. But that's them.
Mm-hmm.
Trailer explains some things borrowed on time skip. Yeah, with here, it's Nemo basically was putting this in the chat. But anime Boruto anime should be filler that explains some things Boruto went through during time skip. That could happen, yes, but they probably got to get Kishimo's permission to get that signed off for them. But when the series does come back, I know that they probably want to get to the time skip, but they can either probably just do the short, the whole reset for time skip. They can probably do it in like one episode if they wanted to, because there's not much of the manga left, original manga left to go Boruto before the relaunch. The only thing they do is, they can probably adapt more to light novels of Boruto. I mean, there's several they can adapt.
Yeah, because the only ones that didn't get an international release is the Shinden trilogy with Naruto's chakra. Well, one of them got directly adapted with Naruto's chakra illness.
Yeah, they adapted the Sasuke one, and they partially adapted the Kakashi one.
Wasn't that just a glorified reference? It's not like they covered the novel in turn.
No, it was like one scene. One brief scene, that was it. There was also one featuring Naruto Orochimaru, which this is the book I found out that Hayarami addresses Orochimaru as Ochi. She calls him that, and he's like, he does not correct her at all. And this is a man basically who Naruto hated for years. and yet he's able to step foot in his house. Orochimaru, the man who took away his rival, who actually tried to kill him several times, and now he's friends with him. Very distant friends per se. He doesn't. He does kind of. I think the Barto anime does kind of explain he does kind of trust him, but not fully trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Orochimaru was trying to redeem himself. And once Bleach wraps up, that's like the third major anime to wrap up this year. At least fourth.
That is true.
Because you have first it was Fire Force, then Doctor Stone. My Hero is finally done because they adapted a short, which I think it should be a little bit longer because that short was like just under 10 minutes. The I Am Here Too, the one focused on Eri, where she's in middle school. Because I kind of felt there's a little bit more story there, but they probably, from what I can tell, they adapt the whole. I haven't read the short itself, but I think they adapted the whole short. But for anybody hearing how Emily Knives sounds in that one compared to which that plays Eri previously, the voice is a little different because she's voicing an older version of Eri, and because lately I've been hearing her dub voice in Reborn's Venom Machine, it seems like she's using that style of voice for all her characters that she does. Which right now the only show I'm watching with her as part of English dub is Mashuka Tensei, where she's the voice of Selfie, who is the main character's first wife and the mother of his first of 6 children. So someone asked about the little bit of controversy that Mashuka Tensei has gone under recently, where some people are accusing Rudius of being a pedophile.
Okay, we're having this conversation.
Have you heard about this?
Yes, I have. Without the risk of getting demonetized, I will say this. The purpose of Masaku Tensei is the concept of personal redemption, not overall or moral redemption. I'm not saying this is the same thing. I'm just using it as an example. Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. He finally does the right thing, fulfills his destiny, defeats Palpatine, and throws him in the reactor shaft. Now, does one genuinely objective good deed wipe away a lifetime or 20 years or so of atrocities? No. But it's a personal redemption for everything he had gone through and strived to be better up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Anakin's is more finite, but the example is still there. Now, I have seen Moku Tensei here and there. I'm not really a big fan of ecchi harem series. I'm just not a big. But I'll watch upon request. But from what I've seen, this is the Rudius or his. The purpose of it is why I should say the guy's a scumbag. There's no refuting that. Both pre and after post Isekai, the guy's a scumbag. No one's refuting that. But at the same time, he's striving
when he was younger, he did stuff he probably shouldn't have. But as he got older, he has regretted the stuff he did. He's basically, like in the most recent season of the show, he is maturing.
I feel like the biggest disconnect for casuals is the fact that Rudius isn't treated like a blank slate in the context of the story. He retains his original self, and he's very self-aware.
That it's a very common trope with reincarnation anime where characters maintain their memories and kind of the personality. It's a common trope. Now the thing is, does Rudius actually do something inappropriate to kids? No, he does not. Despite what people say about him, he does not do anything to kids. He loves kids. He has a kid himself. I mean, yes, he did some. He was a very naughty boy when he was younger, but as he got older, someone said they can't hear me.
Hold on.
He's saying I can't hear you. Is it me or you? He says he can't hear me.
Please clarify because there might be a lag between us.
Yeah, probably a lag. Um, but the thing is, like, he had an issue at the end of season one, and he spent until the end of the first half, the second season, to fix the issue, and he has become better. And though, of course, he did take a second wife because, as explained in the story, his wife knew he was going to do that because of his nature. And yes, his second wife is like, I think she's supposed to be about 30 years older than he is.
Yes,
And
Roxy is considered an adult by this world and
yeah,
setting.
yeah, that's why I think she looks much younger. I think that's what people think of the comes in, but thing is, she is older. He is not the only character who has done this, where why people like him is a woman who looks like a child. This has also happened with Freya, but they don't accuse him of being that. They don't accuse Haitami of being that at all. Because they clarify, pretty much basically from the start, that she's over 500 years old, that character, Yue. But this one, they establish it right away that she's older. And her parents are young. They look young, despite the fact they're probably over 100 years old. It's a trait of that world. So is that where people getting the accusation that he is, you know?
Again, I'm only going by what I've seen online. I'm not going to dissuade one way or the other. All I will say is that in the context of the story, despite Rudius being, or at least the guy, I forget the guy's original name, but despite Rudius being a scumbag, in the context of the story, he's adamantly bettering himself.
I don't think they mentioned his original name before he was reincarnated. All they always show of him, he was a chubby guy who was a recluse. And he did stuff that he probably shouldn't have. His only demon quality was saving a teenage girl from being run over by a car, which that teenage girl turned out to be Naruhoshi.
Mm-hmm. And
They
she gets reincarnated shortly after. But that's the only thing we're going
No,
to.
she is not getting reincarnated. She gets Isekai.
Oh,
Yeah, she gets transported, and that's what causes the incident to happen in the core one of season one. Her arrival caused that end Selfie under the skies, because the fact that she indirectly caused that. Selfie tried to murder her because she got separated from her parents. But later she got over it. But it took some time for him to recognize the fact that this guy was, of course, he kind of knew the fact it was a girl. This was Cephas Fitz. It took him a while to realize who this was. And then eventually he did realize it, and they fell in love again, and they got married, and then she got pregnant, had her child Lucy, which takes a little bit of a while in the light novels from having another kid. It takes until like book like 18, I think it's like book 19 to have more kids, because basically they, that they have one kid. They don't need to people don't care about damage to certain people or characters. This happened for Rudius. Yeah, he's redeeming himself, and basically he's a very he's right now he's a person who very deeply cares about his family. Yeah, he'll expand his family, but he basically is somebody who's currently the head of the household right now because his father, what happened to him at the end of the second season show, he's the current head of the household, and he is trying to cure his mother, which he's had some issues because of happened how they found her, which that's not resolved in the light novel. So book 21, I'm not going to spoil how that happens, but that's when it's resolved. But there's a lot that happen in the light novels. You probably like the source material is important for the series because anime does cut out stuff. I would say ReZero is not as bad as other anime that have light novels where they cut too much. This one they cut enough just for a good adaptation, or they alter some dialogue, or they rearrange some scenes, but it's not too bad. But someone put out this list recently of the top 3 best-selling light novel series, and the best one was That's Never Crimes a Slime. You find that surprising?
I do.
Yeah. I think like up there with Machuca Tensei and ReZero. Yeah, that is a correct movie here. Give me time to let people work. Yeah, that's definitely true when it comes to adaptation. It's like that manga as well. The manga, it's not as bad as basically light novels because light novels, words, there's illustrations in the books what characters look like, but as for actions, it depends on if there's any illustrations even there for that. In manga, there is. Edits, please clarify who you are saying you can't hear. Because he keeps saying basically can't hear you. Like, I have no idea who he's meaning, you or me. I have no idea. Jay?
I'm here.
Okay. Edits basically says I can't hear. He's not clarifying who he says he can't hear. Me or he's not clarifying at all.
Yeah, you might wanna check the playback. You may have a better connection.
Yeah. Plus, because there's more time, include every detail for every sentence. And yeah, that's kind of true, but they do keep a lot of the good meat in per se. They don't cut anything important out, from what I can tell. Uh, because that will upset fans of light novels. They cut anything too important out. But mostly put, it's the best way to describe it is they mostly cut some a little bit of side stuff out. But they try to speed stuff up to keep the adaptation clean, per se.
For the most part.
Yeah. But Machuca Tensei, if you want to wonder how many volumes there are for the light novels, they're currently 20, 26 plus. As of currently, there's like expeditions which features after the series is an anthology series, which features a very controversial chapter, which I'm not going to discuss here because Jay Heat would not be happy to talk about this because it involves two of the characters getting involved who should not be involved, and the fact that the fans of the original web novel wanted him to remove this, but no, he included it in the expedition.
Yeah, the less said about that, the better.
Yeah, and the last one's coming out next year. But I enjoy the expedition because focus on basically Rudy is his kids and what happens afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I can't hear. Are you reading? I'm not clear what he's talking about.
Uh,
I am not clear what he's talking about.
yeah, he must be having some issues with his device.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Because we can hear it perfectly fine. It's probably something at his end.
Yeah, more than likely. We appreciate your support, Thick Edits. Thank you for your time. Hopefully, we get your setup fixed soon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
if
but yeah,
if we decide to do Machuca Tensei as a thing to talk about, it'll be something else. Discuss this one because it, in my opinion, because I enjoy this series, I like it. But it's a very adult heavy series, but it doesn't, let's say, the best way to describe it is that it does not show nudity.
no, it is very clean. I mean, it's not etchy. It is. I would argue it's relatively clean. It's a very crude and dark story. But other than that, I mean, it's not a whole lot of fan service. It's not crass. Well, not too crass.
And plus, anything related to adult stuff happens off screen. It's like that. It's like that in the light novels too. So
Yes.
you cannot blame the anime for cutting that stuff out. It's something that it was.
Say what you will about the
What they
author's
show is
take.
basically the aftermath,
Yes.
or they
I mean,
kind
yeah,
of rush it.
yeah, the anime undercuts it, but not by much.
Mm-hmm.
Not by much. But if Mozoku Tensei does get requested on this channel, we cannot live stream that one. No, that one would have to be pre-recorded and edited profusely.
Yes. because
because
of
instant
because
instant demonetization.
yeah, I review it, but thing is, I pre-record all mine. So,
Yeah, we
but
would we
thing is,
would
mine comes up raw, but I don't know how to edit it at all. So I just
that would
but
have that would have to be standalone. That cannot be featured as an Anime Blaze episode. Mazaku
yeah,
Tensei would have to be its own video, like for real.
yeah. Uh, but thing is, right now they're currently airing season 3 right now. So if we do discuss it, probably discuss it after season 3 wraps up.
More than likely. The problem with problem with casuals have with it is because the topics discussed in the show directly. Okay, yeah. I can actually see this counter argument because Rudius, outside of in the show, do they actually cover? I'm more familiar with the light novels, but in the show, do they actually cover the future Rudius and the time travel stuff, or they haven't gotten to that yet?
They haven't got to yet. They just finished adapting. If I can tell for the dub, they just finished adapting book 13.
Okay, they haven't gotten to that point. Okay, but there is a specific plot point where Rudius has a quell of conscience. That's the cleanest I could say it without spoilers. And from that, he decides to change his perspective, and the real development and meat of the story sets in. Again, that is the most I can say without spoiling it. If you already know or have read the manga adaptation, you know.
Yeah,
But
and they're about to in the next episode feature return of a character who's not been seen since like mid season 1.
mhm.
Pregus, they mentioned him at the end of the episode.
But yeah,
And they see him as Flying Fortress, which that Flying Fortress plays a role in the light novels.
it
And
mhm.
I'm thinking the anime will probably keep the role in.
Yeah, but the purpose of it, I guess, for a lot of casuals, but the purpose of it is that Rudius doesn't really face a lot of consequences for his sleazy behavior in the context post isekai. In terms of because and that's where the issue that if you're going to be isekai, you should be given a blank slate. You shouldn't be anchored back to your old life. But that's not the purpose of the story being told. The purpose being told is that he has his memories and he reflects to become a better person. It's a story of personal redemption rather than moral or a grand gesture to rebuild after the fact.
It also kind of helps basically with certain stuff happening in his current life. Help him basically as a reference point to what happened in his previous life.
Hmm.
They had one episode of the show where focus would go on his sister, where basically she kind of become recluse like he did. They didn't chat, but basically they kind of got along a little better after they sat together, but they didn't do anything per se. They just sat on her bed, just sat there, didn't say anything. He left. This is a girl's dormitory. He didn't do anything. He left, and he didn't do anything to her at all because that is his sister. He would not do anything to his siblings at all. And like in the case of most isekai or reincarnations, Rudy is OP.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like in one of the episodes, he referenced, even not by name, but he did mention, well, he did reference it basically in his head. He did reference when Hercules in Greek myth killed Hydra, which that played a role. That was a more positive way to deal with a problem they were having toward the end of the previous season of the show.
Hmm.
Yeah, ReZero probably something that would not be something you face the consequence discussing that one because that one's a very beloved anime. It's about how dark it is.
Yeah, and I will say this: if I had to give any advice to casuals or even anime watchers or even trying to get their kids into a broader appeal of anime, never, and I think Nick would agree with me, never expose your kids to Berserk. Just don't do it for the love of God. Wait till they're older.
Also, don't expose them to High School DxD.
Okay, that's the obvious one.
Yeah, because it's a very adult anime. Don't expose them to that one. Don't expose them to any type of adult-based anime. Do not expose them to it.
No.
One you can expose them to because it's a great show. That's Incarnate Slime. That is a fun show. And surprisingly, in all the episodes I've ever seen, they don't swear in that show. Surprisingly,
Not that much.
Dragon Ball, yes,
Yes, we would.
definitely.
Yes,
You could probably recommend it for kids for good starting point.
OG Dragon Ball. I mean, there's a few crude, crass jokes because of Toriyama's writing style. So there are a few crass jokes here and there, but you can get through OG Dragon Ball pretty tame.
Yeah. Naruto, yes, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Bleach, it's up to you. One
Yes.
Piece, you have to watch that show because it's too long. Same with Case Closed. Good luck if you can find all the episodes, because the weird thing is Crunchyroll does not have all the episodes.
Nope.
They have they had the first on sub. They had the first I think it's the first 80 episodes plus episodes I think it's 771 to the most recent episode air, where it's episode 1208.
A lot of lost media with One Piece, because
though if you can watch Case Closed, just watch the new dub episodes. But you have to go to the dub wiki to get the proper order episodes to watch these ones in, because you'd be lost if you watch the one in the order they release them, because the wiki will help you go to the dub wiki for Tet Conan, and that will give you the order to watch these episodes in the proper order supposed to be watched. Though if we read the manga, that's fine. Though the manga has over 100 volumes. JoJo, wait till they're in their teens to basically recommend this one, because it's action oriented, but there's blood in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, not much blood in this one.
Nope.
Yeah, it's more blood in the first few parts, but I would say this one in part 5 had very little blood in it.
The only ones that had blood specifically were part 1 and 2, because they were kind of combined together in one season. Mm-hmm. Parts 1 and 2, a little bit of part 3, Diamond Unbreakable a little bit, yeah, and Golden Wind had virtually no blood at all.
Yeah, this one didn't have any blood either, surprisingly. Let's see what are good ones that are out there. Trying to think.
Inuyasha.
Yep.
But that one's a very much a slow burn. Just
from the same creator that you watch from Hap, I would probably recommend watching the remake over the original. Which one was long, but the remake is really good.
No, don't get me wrong. The animation for the Goku versus Jiren fight was cool. I'm not going to refute that for you, thick edits. But in terms of structure and what direction the arc was going for, this is just Gon versus what that tall bland fighter from Yu Yu Hakusho in the Dark Tournament. What was his name? Togoro, something like that.
Yeah. Also, do not recommend kids watch Yu Yu Hakusho, because that is a dark anime.
No, wait till they're teenagers. Do not expose it. Yu Yu Hakusho is good, but no child has any business watching that.
Especially since there's an episode about this demonic videotape that shows the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Evangelion, don't expose that to kids.
Don't expose Attack on Titan, even though it's really good.
Yeah, which the mangaka actually had a shot of getting it serialized with Toei. I mean, with Shonen with the Shonen bracket, but he turned it down for Seinen.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of good ones.
Yeah, he didn't want to tone down his vision.
Let's see what's another good one. Soul Eater, it's up to you for that one.
Soul Eater, it's a little crass, but the story is good.
Yes. Fire Force is maybe the same people, so it's up to you for that one as well. Trying to think what a good one. Do not recommend Jujutsu Kaisen, because that's a very violent anime. Wait till they're teens to watch that one.
Yep.
What's another good one? Not Konosuba, even though it's a comedy, but
yeah, children have no business exposed to that.
Yeah. Same thing with Saga Time Evil. Not that one either.
And thank you, Thick Edits, for confirming you can hear us. And manhwa titles are pretty good too. If I had to
Um,
recommend,
so
go
either
ahead.
middle school, that's fine. I think middle school is fine, but not elementary school kids.
Yeah, middle school is fine.
I think not a good one. Um,
Blue Exorcist, Blue
yeah.
Dragon,
Um,
the Mega Man animes. Those are pretty tame.
mhm.
Pokemon, obviously, that's always a safe bet.
So Leveling is good, but I probably won't recommend that one to their teens. That one,
Yeah, Solo Leveling. Yeah, wait till
it's
they're a
good.
little.
It's
Yeah, it's
good.
good. Just wait till they're a little older.
Yeah.
Anime in
Um,
general, but since a lot of people downplay anime or animation for young people, anime is more versatile for all ages. But
One I would never recommend is Doctor Stone.
yes, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
As for
especially since
manhwa,
it's fun, no swearing. Uh, there's, in case you're wondering, there's no nudity in the show, no swearing, very little violence, surprisingly. So it's a good anime for kids, and plus, the seasons are not very long. They're very
no,
breezy go through for that one. Let me think. What other ones? Um, I would not recommend kids watching the show Freezing. There's lots of nudity in that one, and plus, there's a lot of dark elements in that one too. Hmm. Let's see. I have not seen. I've only seen Soul Leveling, the ones Cinema King is recommending. I have not seen the other ones. Return of the 10th Disaster. I've never seen that one. Or Gray's Eat Estate Developers. The other ones with exception of I've never seen any of these. Have you seen any of these ones, Jahit?
not really, but I have heard about them.
I've heard of Go to High School. That one I would not recommend watching the anime because that one was rushed. Well, I heard
Yeah,
the story is
yeah.
good, but I've never seen the anime. But I heard that they pretty much They pretty much just went way too fast for that one.
Hmm. A lot of product series got rushed into serialization with COVID.
Yeah. I think was a good one. Um. Let's see. No. Here we go. Even though it's subbed, I would recommend the series, even though it's a sequel to a Commander series, Futo PI. Great series, but subbed. Kids might not like it because it's not in English.
Yeah, there's no international release for that one, I don't think.
It's on Crunchyroll, but there's no dub for that one, sadly.
Okay.
Uh,
Ben 10 is a very good one.
Witch Island new one for this year. It's good. Got a little bit of dark elements, but not too bad per se. But the animation is beautiful for that show.
Mm-hmm.
I would not recommend Tokiyaki because this one has lots of blood. There's
Yeah.
like blood like every episode.
Yeah, there is such thing as too much blood.
Like, oh my gosh, it's tons. Let's see. Let's see. I would kind of recommend Welcome to Japan myself, even if it's subbed, but it's a really good show. Freeman. That might be good for kids to watch. What do you think, Jahit?
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy that one for what it is.
Yeah, but the first season is long. It's like 28 episodes.
Which you wouldn't think it would be that long.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at the episode I watched last year. Um, one of the M watched last year was Apothecary Diaries. Uh, not for kids. This one, I would recommend teenagers for this one. Let's see. This one might be good for kids to watch. Uh, Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill.
Mm-hmm.
Cinema King is asking if this is open discussion.
Yes. Would you mind this being open discussion, Nick?
Sure. Another good one. This one I actually really enjoy this one. Sweet Reincarnation. It's where like all the characters think about the food. Dungeon Mushi, I think that's delicious. I think it's delicious in Dungeon that one. It's on my list to watch.
All right. The link is down below. If you guys want to hop in, this will be open discussion.
Doraemon, I've never seen it.
Hold on, let me look that up. I think I've heard of that one before. Doraemon.
Mm-hmm.
Doraemon. I remember this one. It's not a bad anime. It's just that compared to modern sensibilities, it's better to wait till they're a little older.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not expose this to small children.
One I recommend just for teenagers, not for little kids. Is it wrong to jumping up girls in a dungeon?
Danmachi? Yeah, do not expose your children to Danmachi. Wait till they're a little older. I would argue around high school, if I'm being honest.
I think middle schoolers might handle the darkness in the show. Do you think?
Case by case, let the parents decide.
Yeah.
What's up, Movie Theater King?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Got a better computer now as well.
I'm Movie Theater King.
Hello.
How are you?
Great. How are you, Nick?
I am doing good. Right now, we're just recommending anime positive for kids. We've listed up a bunch of anime so far. I'm looking at
Doraemon, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Nick. I've seen a little bit of Doraemon here and there. It's like I said, a lot of the sensibilities and subtext humor. Some parents might be a little protective about, especially when you factor localization. So, at least considering its target audience, you can get away with young age. But I would say like late elementary, early middle school, just to be on the safe side.
Mm-hmm.
But please continue.
This one might be interesting. I don't know. You probably could recommend this for kids, but it's up to them. Tushimunchi Moonlight Fantasy.
Case by case. I know what you're talking about, Nick, but definitely case by case.
I would definitely recommend the English dub because you have the main voice actor from Black Clover in this one as the main character. He doesn't scream in this one.
Mm-hmm. Penguin Highway, that's a good one, Movie Theater King. Thank you. Dr. Slum, obviously a Toriyama project, so I would definitely recommend Dr. Slum.
I haven't seen the end, but I've read the manga for this one. This one, I think kids might like it. It's not too dark. Reborn as a vending machine. It's not very long, too. It's like 3 seasons, 12 episodes. Pretty quick to get through this one.
Detective Cannon. Okay, now you're introducing the classics, Dick Lens. Not gonna Dick edits. Now you're bringing up the classics.
Let's see that one's on here. Not Chain Soldier. That one's too adult for that one. Do not recommend that one. Chain Soldier. Do not recommend that for kids. That's a very
no.
Teenagers might like it, but not kids. No.
No.
I don't know about this one. This might be good for kids, but it's up to parents if they allow them to watch this one. Fairy Tale.
Case by case.
Yeah.
Because I can see arguments for both.
Mm-hmm. What about Seven Deadly Sins?
Ooh.
It's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to look for another ones. Um, Chill in a world with level 2 cheat powers.
Case by case.
It's a very interesting one where it's like a guy gets from one fantasy world to another one, and he takes this sort of like dog woman as his wife, and he only takes one wife the whole series. He has a woman live with him, but they're not in love with him, which is surprising. Let's see. This one I would just is up to parents. This one, Marshall, Magic and Muscles. That way up to parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Definitely not Blade of the Immortal. Do not recommend that for kids. Too dark. I've seen the original show, and yeah, and they talk about rape in that show a lot. But there's no scene of rape per se, but they mention a lot in the show. This one might be good for kids to watch, even if they're into. It's very interesting to watch this one. No swearing. They did only one season of the show, surprisingly. Parallel World Pharmacy. I watched this one 3 years ago. It's a great anime. I'm surprised never did season 2 this one.
I'm surprised as well.
Yeah. I think I remember Lenny Seidel was actually the voice of the childhood maid become sort of assistant in the show. But I don't recognize a lot of the cast. One show might be interesting if it depends on the person per se, but I really like the show and there's no season 2 for it. The Aristocrats Outwardly Adventure.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's only 12 episodes, and Trina Shimura, the voice of Earjack, My Hero, and Mika Sekatine is the voice of the lead character in the show. Their adventure in the show is voiced by Ian St. Clair, and his sister is one of his instructors. He's obsessed with magic. He becomes OP, and he does get engaged, but he's a complete gentleman to his fiancées, who just happen to be the princess of the kingdom and a duke's daughter. And their fathers tend to be like overreacting to everything he does, despite the fact that he actually was giving the girls compliments, which they love the compliments, and then gets engaged to an elf princess because he defeated her in a sparring match. Which the girls have no problem with her being one of the fiancés because, well, they know her. But it's a very interesting series, especially since his childhood friend is a dog girl, which she's in love with him, but he doesn't know it at all. But basically, he knew her. Like basically, he's working with her uncle to bring in some games. He gets positions in nobility in the show, but the show ended by referencing a bunch of that happened after the last episode. And I'm like, why did never did season 2 of the show for? But it's a good show. There's not much adult content. It's very clean, this one. Ultimate female princess of genre manga, manhwa, Chinese comics. I've never read much. I never read any Chinese comics. I know I've read a little bit of manhwa. Ultimate, is that like video game based ones? Movie Theater King.
Otome is basically a female-led story where the woman is from a prestigious family. Think of like a Disney princess, but this time the princess has like either real-life troubles or relatable troubles in a fantasy setting.
I know of one I've seen where It's a show I watched last year. That's kind of like that. So I can bring it up here. Alexis Tipton's in this one. Oh, here it is. On the Villainous, on Taming the Final Boss. Where she's in a game and
Yeah.
this one she's an expert in the game.
The one I'm enjoying is called Although I Am an Inept Villainess. Basically, it's a girl in a Chinese like setting where she and a villainess swapped bodies, but the princess loves it since her old body was extremely sick and weary. But with this new body, she has the baggage of being the villainess, like all the crimes that the old villainess created, she has to deal with. And she wins people over with just kindness and just her own personal skill.
Mm-hmm.
This one would be interesting, but I would probably recommend this one just for middle schoolers. Start this one with The Case Study of Thanatos.
I agree.
The Case Study of Thanatos?
Yeah, it's maybe the same person. He also made the person who made this one was may also made Pandora Hearts. And it, unlike in the case of Pandora Hearts, which has no dub, this one is dubbed. It's basically kind of like it's set in the Victoria era England, and there's vampires involved, but it's a lot of tech, like steampunkish. There's a little bit of blood, but not too much per se. Though they have Vanatos himself be like in love with a female vampire, and she's always embarrassed every time he proclaims his love for her, which I thought was kind of funny because like the comedy duo of the series, and the other one who's a vampire, his childhood friend is in love with him, who was a woman, and her name is Dominic. I believe Alexis voices her, and they this one had 2 cours a few years ago, but they couldn't finish because they caught up with the manga. They adapted like 53 chapters in like 24 episodes. Let's see. This one might be interesting, but it depends upon if they don't mind having the kids watch a show where a character is well, I haven't reached a complaint with this one in the world of my smartphone. You both still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah. What about now on my smartphone? Would you recommend kids watch this one?
I haven't seen that one, so I don't know.
Neither have I.
It's good. It's had like 2 seasons, and they only adapted roughly about the first 6 books in just 2 seasons. First season came out in 2018. Second season came out, I think, like a couple years ago. I think it was. Great show, though. They did have to replace the main voice actor, and one of the girls they have in the show, they replaced her for some reason. I didn't get a reason for that one, but the male lead got replaced because he asked to be. Because originally he was voiced by Josh Grell before he, decided out himself as transgender. And the most recent season had the guy who voiced Bell from Is There Wrong Juggro's Dungeon as his replacement. Where he's like, does stuff with a smartphone, finds people, takes out a dragon, sees 2 people that he knows fall in love. Good show. One, I don't know if parents would recommend this one per se because there's a tiny bit of dark elements in this one. They did have 6 season for this one. Death March to a Parallel World Rhapsody. You ever seen this one, Jahid?
What was the name?
Death March to a Parallel World Rhapsody.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. He takes some girls in as sort of like slaves, but he's not like treating them as slaves. They're basically part of his family. But he had to. And though there is one scene, parents like, why is she doing this? Is she forcing him to do this? No, she's doing this on their own. There's a character voiced by Mike Ariel does a scene that, well, she thinks that's what he wants. He's like, no, I don't want this at all. He is not interested in it at all. Even though that she likes him. But it's a 11-year-old girl, and he's like, no, not dealing with that. No, 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 no. She thinks that, but no. The only girl he's interested in is a 1,000-year-old elf, which he doesn't meet until like book 6. He only sees like a couple times in the series, but that's the only woman who actually he has thing for. They do have like this noble woman who's sort of a knight. She has thing for him. She has joined the group later on. They even have like a homunculus join them too. And she's like one of like 18 of them. And according to what I read on the wiki, originally these girls died in the original web novel, but the writer regretted having happened, so he had it where in the light novel version, which they put in the anime, basically he actually went back and saved everybody. Yep. Trying to look at the ones I've seen.
Movie Theater King, you've been awfully quiet. Anything you would like to add?
None for that, but I'm just like curious. What do you think about the female genre? Let's say I'm a bad speaker.
Shoujo, I
What do
believe
you
it's called.
What?
Shoujo, I believe that's what the term is called for female marketed stories and manga. But I could
No,
be wrong.
I don't think so because Tokyo Ghoul, if I remember, was called a shoujo or a seni, one of those two, and that's not female led. But let's
Shoujo.
say the
No, I'm looking at it right now. Shoujo, a genre of Japanese comics and animated films aimed primarily at a young female audience, typically by characterized focus of personal and romantic relationships. Wait, who was saying Tokyo Ghoul was a shoujo series?
I remember someone said it a while ago. I don't know.
I think it's more of a shonen series, not this other one.
Not shoujo. No, yeah, because shonen is the default anime for preteen young teens. At least that's the main demographic. Yeah, but shoujo is
No,
more
it's a seinen. My bad. It's a seinen.
seinen. Okay, that's what you're thinking. Yeah, seinen is the darker, more adult brand. Yeah, that's what you're thinking of. Yeah. Who's saying shoujo? But yeah, but like I said, Berserk. Yeah, even Attack on Titan technically is a seinen series.
Another one that's one of the shoujo. I think isn't Sailor Moon classified as that?
Yes, it's a classic shoujo series.
Yeah. I would only recommend that to girls because it's more of a girl-based anime. I've seen Crystal. I don't mind it per se, but I've heard the creator's husband's work. I'll be right back.
Okay, Movie Theater King, while we're waiting on Nick. Anything else you got going on? Any videos you like to promote?
No, but I just wanted to ask one question.
Sure.
What do you guys think about if the otome genre started becoming more mainstream? Started getting movie deals. I actually like these characters. They are relatable. Let me send you a link real quick of what I'm talking about. Are you a Redditor, for a chance?
Not really, but I do research some articles from time to time. Otome is a subgenre of isekai, right?
Otome isekai, yeah. Basically a female-led protagonist in some type of fantasy setting. Whether most of it takes place in a European-inspired fantasy setting.
Since COVID, if you had asked me pre-COVID, I would say Otome is relatively niche, but post-COVID, I would not be surprised if it gained traction.
It is gaining traction. Heck, I started watching some.
Okay, let me see this link.
If was it saying like if Lord of the Mysteries, a Chinese anime, can be turned into a Chinese novel, which was translated in English, can get turned into an anime.
I've been reading that one, Lord of Mysteries.
Yeah, yeah.
I know the first season apparently covers the first 3 books, kind of.
But back to movie theater's question. Nick, he's asked, "What do you believe Otome or this subgenre will gain traction, like with movie deals and stuff like that?"
Possibly, yes.
Because there was already a few one that got an anime, like Just Who Made Me a Princess. That was one that got turned into an anime.
Yeah. One that I know of is a female-led one. Actually, there's a couple of them. One is it's fine of an anime to watch. It's not what you're thinking of, but it's female-led one. It's called "Saving 80,000 Gold from My Retirement of the World," which there's that one, and there is I may be a guild receptionist, but so any boss to clock out on time.
Mm-hmm. There's
So-
also... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of them aired last year, though, aired a few years ago. One I think might be interesting. Directed for kids. It's interesting to watch this one. The Red Ranger's Adventure in Another World.
I've heard that one. That
Yeah,
was actually pretty good.
yeah, and get this. In the sub, his Ranger team is all voiced by Sentai actors.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yep. The one who's their like White Ranger is a girl. She is voiced by the actors who played Luca from Gokaiger.
Hmm.
Yep. Which I thought was really cool. The fact that they actually got her in to do that character, because apparently her voice act name is Mao, Mao, but it's like initials. But that's the name she goes by when she does voice acting.
Yeah. Oh, before I go, I just wanted to announce that Death is the Only Ending for the Illness has just got an announcement for an anime.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really popular. So I'm in my head like, oh wow, a lot of these manhwas are getting popular.
Mhm.
So Japan, Korea, and China are probably going to start arguing about which of their animations is better, which of their stories are better.
Yeah. I think if I remember correctly, isn't Solo Leveling, despite the fact being a Korean-based manga made in Japan?
Yeah, there was controversy about that from the Japanese side of things.
Here in the US, people love it.
Yeah, they loved it. Especially
Because
in the
it's-
early days when it was just a comic.
Yeah.
I remember
The
in like
anime is really
2019.
good. I've met a small chunk of the voice cast of that show. I've not met like Slee, the one who voices Sing. I've not met him yet. I've met a few of the other ones. If I remember reading it correctly, I think it was Colleen voices mom in the dub. Colleen Clickenbeard. And this one had like a bunch of like big name voice actors in it. They had like Sabbath, Ian St. Clair voice like Guild Heads. Jade Saxton is the voice of an elf in the show who is in this other dimension, which I think is kind of funny. It's Lord of Mystery is also made in Japan as well. That's about being published by the Chinese.
Wait, what'd you say
I'm
again? The
uncertain.
last one?
Lord of Mysteries.
Yeah, it's a good anime.
Yeah, I might watch it soon, but I want to read because apparently it covers like the original chapter, like 213 chapters, the original 12 episode anime. Uh, the one that aired a couple, I think it was like just 2 years ago. I think it was. That's what I've heard, anyways, about it. Where it covered that, I read down a line about that one. But I don't know if any more gonna be adapted, especially since some are getting traction, but not a lot of them are. I think it's more of like manga light novels are getting adapted than Mithwa. Probably because what happened with God of High School.
Mm-hmm.
But it's getting kind of late right now.
Yeah, I agree. Final thoughts, gentlemen.
Oh, nothing. I just got to do something really important. It was nice seeing you guys again. Good night.
Thank you. Of course.
You
Nick, how about you? Anything you like to promote or got coming up on your channel?
I have some anime videos coming tomorrow and a couple Toku videos. One of the Toku I'm watching, Kamen Zets, it's about to wrap up. The last episode comes out next week. They released a penultimate episode. I didn't have time to watch it today, so I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
All right. As for me, finally, I've been on the back burner for so long, but finally, I got some reviews coming out for the channel. First is Supergirl 2025. I'm gonna go ahead and finally get that. I had to completely redo the whole video. Then I'll be doing a review on Lanterns. Episode 2 recently come out today, so expect the first video to be a two-parter. Episodes 1 and 2 back to back. And of course, Boruto Tubu Vortex Chapter 36. We're at Chapter 35 currently, so Chapter 36 is next. And with the 1 month break, that gives us more time.
Mm-hmm. I think we also need to do solicits.
Yes, thank you. And I will hopefully I can get Robert for solicitations.
Yes, I think we also have another comic blaze coming up. I think it's Grant Morrison's new X-Men, correct?
Yes, thank you so much. And Grant Morrison's X-Men. Hopefully we can get that in before the end of the month, but if not, it'll be the first weekend of September.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank y'all so much for joining us, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. Flame off.